Welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We are live here Friday, December 20th. It could only mean one thing on this hour on Friday. It's what just happened, and it's the last one of 2024. We have three superstars joining us. Alex Berg, creative director and journalist, telling stories from the front and behind the camera, a writer for NBC News, The Daily Beast, and more, and an LGBTQ activist. Alex, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Also back, Dustin Chafin, Texas-born, New York City-based comedian, raised comedian, travels the country, been on HBO's Crashing, Showtime's Comedy Showcase, as a new dry bar special. You can hear him on SiriusXM all the time, and he's always touring nonstop, opening a lot for Nate Bargatze, and he's here today. Nice to see you, brother.
Great to see you.
And Titus is here. Christopher Titus, award-winning
Yay.
comedian, appeared in countless TV shows, and his 10th special is going to premiere December 24th. Yes, Christmas Eve, called Carrying Monsters. You can see it at his website, ChristopherTitus.com, which I'll ask you more about later, Titus, so you can talk about it. But thanks for being here.
I made it on time this time.
You did no, except for one time where he just didn't show up. He has been great, Titus.
10 specials.
We don't even know what happened. He didn't show
Love
up,
it.
but he showed up for all his specials. And this is going to be a live broadcast right to his special air. So we're going to go live to November 24th, and then just roll it in. It's like coffees, and like we're going to be like a mess. It's like a telethon. All right, my friends. So let's begin. The emergence of President Elon Musk. Donald Trump has become a Pinot. A tiny Pinot, a president in name only. Elon Musk runs everything, and now they're trying. It's very unsettling for a few things. One, I'm unsettled by. Democrats found a good message, President Elon Musk, and they stuck with it. They all said it on cable news, like they're Republicans. I'm like, what are you're scaring me. It's the ghost of Christmas future showed up. So, Alex, what is your take on President Musk? Should we keep repeating it? And where's our country going?
I totally think that Democrats should keep repeating it because it is so petty. And I think the idea is just to get under Trump's very, very thin skin and create more disruption and dysfunction for him. I will say the takeover, the abdication of power from House Republicans to Elon Musk, it happened even faster than I was anticipating. I thought we would at least have a couple of more weeks until they just totally laid down and let him walk over them like a doormat. But here we are. I feel like we are now living in the consequences of plutocracy. So I feel like it arrived a little bit faster, and it's very much fuck around, find out energy, and it has arrived.
Dustin Chafin, where you're coming to us now from wherever you are in some undisclosed
I'm
location.
in a barn in Maine. That's where I'm at.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am. This is girls. Her family has a pottery studio, so this is where I'm at.
Are you on the lam? Are you on the lam? You're
I'm
like
pretty close. I'm this close to being off. This might be my
was in
last
a bunker.
Zoom. Yeah,
He's just doing it
I
from
am.
different locations all the time. He shows up.
Yeah, I just bought a crossbow. I'm getting ready for this apocalypse.
It's like you're on the set of The Last of Us.
It's going down, man. It's going down.
They're coming for you. So talk to us, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of been checked out.
What?
I haven't been listening to a lot of stuff, but
Perfect.
it's good to know Elon Musk is still happening. I'm just surprised at the influence this guy has. You know what I mean? Like, all he did was what? They made electric car. We've had a Chevy Bolt for like 20 years. You know what I mean? I'm not impressed. It's like, I mean, at least Dick Cheney had a resume. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So your take is that it's Elon Musk is not that impressive, but the Republicans, they are cowering Trump. Look at Titus. Look at the relationship now. On some level, everything is shifted. Trump is a president in name only. In this case, he was bankrolled by Elon Musk. Elon Musk bought him a really nice house, is paying all of his bills. Like, Trump is like the first lady now. This is what it really feels like. He's Melania. He's Orange Melania. So what is your take on this?
He's always been the president in name only, even his first term.
Right.
I just kind of sad that Justice Scalia isn't alive to see the dagger he just put through America, at the heart of America. I mean, but he did get us the first immigrant African president with a disability. So I guess glass half full.
Elon Musk, yeah.
I mean, how do we literally, if you ever watched Musk talk, or his dancing should have just excluded him from anything in government. But I don't understand why everybody's not screaming. What did the Epstein tapes that they stole from his house after it happened? What did they show on all the Republicans that no one is just screaming right now? Why do you think they're just letting it go?
It's a remarkable question. The fear of money. I mean, the fear of being primaried if you look at a logical thing, that's if there's something else we don't know about. But Elon Musk has $400 billion. He can spend $10 million to primary every Republican member of the House, and they can't match that. And it's just unbelievable to see that's where we are, that this man could have this much power. And Alex, you mentioned the plutocracy. This is, and I keep saying on the show, a new Gilded Age where the robber barons and, Rockefeller with oil and Vanderbilt with railroad, and the list goes on of the wealthy that they bought and sold senators like it was nothing, and judges. They bragged about the judges they own. Elon Musk is just taking a new level. He bought a president, and now he's like, I want this, and I'm calling for this. And Trump bowed to him because, to remind people, Elon Musk began tweeting at 4:30 in the morning Wednesday to oppose the budget deal that Trump was on board with. And by 4 in the afternoon, Trump is joining with Musk. Musk led the charge for 12 hours, slamming the deal. And Trump's like, oh, I guess we got to get on board here. And that's what happened, Alex.
I also think that there's part of Trump's ego that loves the idea of Elon Musk and all these other tech billionaires going to Mar-a-Lago, wanting to have lunch with him and spend time with him. It really is so validating to him. And so I feel like there's also that element where all of the genuflecting, the bending of the knee has really paid off for them. And now Republicans, because Elon Musk bought the election for Trump, Republicans are now, I guess, have a valid fear that they'll lose their primaries because he has the resources to primary all of them. So it's like the fear has now become a very effective tool to use against House Republicans. But I think that there's part of Trump that secretly loves it because all these billionaire guys are now making an appeal to him like he's the coolest guy in the room.
Oh my God. Dustin, if Trump were to invite you to Mar-a-Lago for dinner, would you go? And I should say, as a side, if Bob DeBono invited me, I wouldn't go. And he just does an impression of Trump. Okay, so we both know Bob DeBono.
Yeah.
So, and I like Bob. If he books a show, I'll do the show he books. But I won't go have dinner with him if he's dressed as Trump. I'm not going. But what if you got an invite to perform a corporate gig at Mar-a-Lago for Trump? Would you do it?
Absolutely.
I like that. That's what I think about Dustin.
I don't have
At least
10
he's on it.
specials. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go. I need that money, man. I got one dry bar. No thanks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You would hope that, like, in the middle of it, you go after everybody. But I don't know. I think, everybody's impressed with Musk because he's like the goat of the rich son. You know what I mean? Like, I think Trump just idolizes what he is. Like,
do you think you wonder, Titus, if Trump looks at Musk and goes, I wish Donald Trump Jr. and Eric were this smart, like in their view, like he's like the South African apartheid son that he never had. He's like, oh, if I could have this
He was
son from
born
apartheid.
racist. He was
Right.
born racist. He didn't have to learn it.
Right. How great is that? And he worked in America illegally, which is documented by the Washington Post. He
Yep.
came here on a student visa, didn't do any work, didn't go to school. He just started working and doing entrepreneurial stuff in violation of our immigration laws, and then became a citizen because he was well connected.
I think a couple of the good news that we can say is, first of all, I would never go to Mar-a-Lago because I don't know how they would separate me from Vanilla Ice. There would be a problem. The other thing is that everything goes when people get this wealthy and they put them in charge. When you put the billionaires in charge, as we've seen through history, it always works out perfectly.
Right.
And I think that Elon Musk, if you look at Elon, the ironic thing about Trump and the immigration thing is that everybody from his wives, his kids are like if you think about it, his kids are anchor babies from his parents. He's buried his other immigrant wife in his golf course. Like I was looking at what the list of stuff you guys sent me, and I just thought, how the fuck did we get here, man? How does it happen? Congress is going to shut down again too. How is a Congress full of grown ass men still doing homework the morning it's due? How is that happening? How did we get here, man? When you said it's the last broadcast of the year, I thought, you know what, Dean, this could be the last broadcast.
Could be. Did you talk to the executives at SiriusXM? Is there something you're trying to tell me?
No.
They just put a new COO in. I'm not kidding. It could be like, that show's gone. Just tell them they'll come back after the holidays. It could be. I'm laughing now, but I'll be in the barn with Dustin next show.
We'll both be booked at Key Largo.
Yeah, Dustin, we need the address of the barn. At least we can start a small militia. I'm in.
The barn tour.
Snail mail.
Dustin
I'll
and
get it to
Dean.
you.
He could do top billing. Dustin and Dean will hang out there. Maybe Nate will let me open for you while opening for Nate. That's my dream right now.
Yeah.
So Alex, on some level though, Titus is trying to find a silver lining. Republicans actually like an African immigrant. If you're a white and wealthy, you're the African immigrant they like because he's from South Africa. The other immigrants from Africa to them are eating cats and dogs, but not Elon Musk. They love him. That was Haitian? So because that wasn't Africa. I'm not great at geography. But the point is,
Yeah, should we
applaud them, Alex,
Oh, I
for
can see
actually
where you got
liking an immigrant?
Yeah, let's cut that out.
We should no, we should not
It
applaud
really is a
them.
last show. I didn't think it was going to be, but Titus is right. He predicted it.
It's been a very long year. No, we should absolutely not applaud them. I mean, come on. I think you guys are all right, which is that Elon Musk, like apartheid son, white guy, gazillion dollars. They love that shit. Like they love it so much.
And by the way, just today, a short time ago, and this is so ridiculously true, Elon Musk endorsed in Germany, because they're having the parliamentary elections, AfD, alternative for Germany, for Deutschland. And it is a far right party, which its origin is white supremacy and an affinity. They're not really a neo-Nazi party, that wouldn't be allowed, but their affinity is for Nazis. You know, like they're not Nazi adjacent. And he literally endorsed them today. He's not hiding it. This guy is who he is. He is like a Bond villain. Look, I mean, Dustin, when you look at him, is he a Bond villain? Is he Marie Antoinette? Let them eat cake. Is he Rasputin from Russia, who ultimately doesn't end up well for any of those three people, and Rasputin especially? And that's what I'm rooting for, a Rasputin scenario.
I think he's all of it. He's DC and Marvel. You know what I mean? He's Lex Luthor. He is the Joker. Like he's taken everything. He's like morphed into this thing that is him. I mean, 10 years from now, he's going to be in every superhero movie, you know.
He'll be every bad guy. In your heart, Dustin, how do you think this ends? I'll ask each of you this. Honestly, you could joke or be serious. How do you think this ends for Elon Musk? Like, does he leave the country? Does he just get more and more wealthy? Things work out for him well, or something really bad?
I don't know. You know, I'm in a barn for a reason. I think he's going to just get more and more powerful. I think we're going to just have to ride this one out. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to do. You know.
Titus, online, people are very clear what they would like to see. Some are calling for Biden to use his immunity to send the drones after Musk. Others are saying they should introduce Luigi to Musk. I've seen that online.
Oh, yeah, this is nice.
So, I mean, I'm just saying what people are saying. I'm not saying this. But my point is there's a level of anger building towards Musk, which could get unleashed in different ways. Or do you think he's just the villain of the day? Because on some level, Trump has taken a back seat. And the new villain in this WWE world that we live in world wrestling, is Elon Musk. He's the new villain of the day.
Well, I mean, the facts are this. I mean, like I bought, I was an early adopter of the Model S. My wife had one. I had one, and we sold them because he's such a Teslas. We sold them. They've sold 30. Their sales dropped 35% in November. So I think Musk is. I guess when you got 400 billion, you don't worry about it. But Musk is a guy. It just is such a proof that no matter how much money you have, you can't buy the ability to dance. Like you can't. There's nothing you're gonna do that's gonna make you cool. And I think what's happened is when something has its own momentum. Musk has his own momentum, and I think he's going to flame out pretty bad. And how's it going to end for Trump? I think Trump's. He said he wasn't bothered by calling him President Musk, but you know damn well he's standing at the omelet station at Mar-a-Lago, just angrily doing ketchup shooters from ramekins. You know damn well that he's pissed off. I think Musk. I think it ends really bad, like it always does, but it'll end in a Great Depression. We're going to have. Whenever you put these guys in charge, we're gonna end in something horrible. So again, that's why I'm saying I'm enjoying this last time on your show.
It's either that or like a robot army. We're gonna have
a robot army could happen. Yeah, that's true. You're right. I forgot robot army. That, by the way, I take my bet off him going to horrible. I put my money back on robot army. You're right. My bad.
Dustin, when you say robot army, do you mean like with the Will Smith movie, I, Robot, like that kind of thing?
Like Terminator, you know? I don't
know if that's even better.
Come on, you gotta go.
If anyone can travel in time, it's gonna be Elon Musk to find the Terminator, or is he just gonna unleash AI on us? Because Alex, I am convinced that artificial intelligence, and it's a good thing for people, because many people speculate and they worry, how are we all gonna die? It's AI, right? We know it's gonna kill us. So you can just say, like, don't have to worry, it won't even be any kind of disease, AI is gonna get us. Do you think Elon Musk hastens the demise of the world on some level?
Yes, I feel like he's actively hastening the demise of the world right now. It might not be through a robot army, but totally hastening the demise of democracy. And like it's happening right now. Maybe he'll flame out. I also wonder, like, Trump does have a pattern of just getting tired of people and then firing them. So I'm like, at what point does Elon Musk also just become so annoying that they just get fed up with him? But I think as long as he controls the purse strings and that he can meaningfully impact elections, I think that he's still gonna have a role to play.
But look, the guy's the poster child for campaign finance reform. I mean, we desperately need it. I hope, Titus, because you were touching on this too. I hope there's a point where there's a backlash where if you poll rank and file Republicans and Democrats, they both agree on a few things. One is taking big money out of politics, because the rank and file Republican, like Democrat, knows that our voices are diluted. Our power is diluted when someone can give legally $270 million. And if we could ban all of that, if there's ever a time, I know the Supreme Court will strike it down because they're corrupt, but this would be a time, I would have to hope, and maybe at least on the state level.
I remember where I was the day, like the Kennedy assassination, the day I was driving down Moore Park in LA, and when they passed Citizens United, and I called my wife, I'm like, that country's over, and it took a minute. But
Wow.
if you got a guy that's spending $400 billion, and the Republicans wanted Citizens United, they wanted to be able to legally take all this money, and now it's going to bite him in the ass so hard, because now you've got the guy with the most money telling them, do what I want or you're done. It's such a classic Shakespearean story. And again, besides the robot army taking us all out, we're the ones that are going to suffer for it. And I'm just stunned that we're in the opening credits of the next Trump presidency, and they're shutting down the government. How do you buy a car and total it in the fucking showroom? It's crazy where we are. It's crazy.
Through the window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Man,
he hit three other cars in the showroom and then went through the window.
That's so great.
He's like, oh, boom, 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 take bumper cars in the show. I'm like, what are you doing?
He had the job once. How is he worse at it now? How is he worse at it now? And,
well, look
and
what
he started.
He tweeted today, if there's going to be a shutdown of the government, let it begin now under the Biden administration, not after January.
Just blame it on poor Joe.
And to not know who's dude, the Republican speaker, it's your dude. Like, how do you, man, his father needed to slap him more. My dad slapped me just enough to make me a decent person. And I think that's where I'm at right now.
I think it's a great point though, that both of you make, and Dustin, chime in with a great point whenever you want to here. But I think that they know, like, Republicans crash the economy every time in the modern era. This is what they do. They did it. George Herbert Walker Bush, well, it was from Reagan, but certainly George W. Bush, then Donald Trump last time. It's Democrats that clean up. And if you go way back to the Depression, Herbert Hoover destroyed the economy, didn't want to do any kind of Keynesian economy where you spend money to grow the economy, blah, blah, blah. Dustin, do you think right now on paper, the economy is good? I know there's some people struggling. I understand that. But overall, the economy is good. If you want a job, there's generally a job out there. What do you think we're going to be in a year or two from now?
For comedians, I feel like there's always shows. We have a different world. You know what I mean?
You work with Nate Bargatze. What are you talking about? Of course, there's always shows.
He's got a Christmas special like on CBS coming up.
Hey.
Are you in that special?
Well, let me say this. My life goes from private jets to Spirit Airlines pretty quick. All right. All right. I'm playing. Yeah, I'm playing every funny bone.
Does Nate go on private jets?
I mean, let's don't get into that. I mean, let's sell my friend
out.
No,
that's great. No, that's nothing wrong with that. No, but what's so impressive, Titus, Dustin, I remember Nate. Dustin ran a midnight show at Broadway Comedy Club.
Are you angry at Nate too?
I think he is. I know. That's why it's good. You weren't nice to him. I was nice to him. That's the difference.
That's right. I should have been. I'm like, in retrospect, I should have been nicer. Like
I gave the kid stage time. You were like, hey, I'm
Aziz,
bumping
I'm sorry.
you.
That was my mistake. I thought Aziz was going to help me because he's brown and I'm brownish. No, Aziz was a dick.
You sucked up to Pete Dominic instead of the.
That was a big mistake. No, Pete actually helped me a great deal. No, but Titus, we would do. Dustin booked a midnight show at Broadway, remember? And that's where I would meet Nate. I think you had him handing out flyers for you or something like that.
I did.
You had him handing out flyers. And he was a new comic, and he was a nice enough guy. I didn't talk to him a lot, but we talked, and then I've been really happy for his success. But it's kind of interesting to see this. He deserves a private jet. I don't promote.
Let's get off of that for a second. Let's go back to your question, which is basically, it's like as a comedian, you see people going to shows, you see them spending money, so you assume the economy is okay. So because I'm not out there. I'm not a welder. I'm not a plumber. You know what I mean? I don't know what the rest of the world.
You're fixing barns.
Yeah, I'm in Barnes, you know.
He's
Look,
in
he's got
Barnes.
a line.
I'm
He's got a
telling
line at his
jokes.
merch table, Dean. The economy
Yeah.
is booming. It's
No,
doing well. We're all doing
but
I
well.
sold 4 trucker hats and
Thank you. There you
Titus,
go.
15 t-shirts, bro.
they have the economic indicators. I have the comedic indicators that are
Yeah.
so also economic that you
But
when
whenever
we
there's
see
tragedy, there's comedy, and we're always going to have shows because people
Yeah, it's good to
need
know
a
the next 4
distraction.
years, except for the
Yeah.
being sued. Dean, you and I are gonna have to go in halvesies on a lawyer after he sues us for our
well, I'm a
podcast.
lawyer, so I'll represent I'll represent you for a discount.
Good. I would let it be
So
awesome.
that would be. But there's as comedians, you've seen as full-time comedians, you've seen boons and you've seen more challenging times. Yes, you can always work as a comic, but there are easier times than others. And I talked to Jim Gaffigan earlier today, who said today we're in a boom. I'm like, he's also with Jerry Seinfeld in arenas, but they're in a comedy boom. So what do you think, Titus? Are we? And do you think in a year or two from now, if the economy begins to really tighten, we see that kind of just dry up?
No, if anything, it'll get better. What's happened? You got to remember, I've been doing this a long time. So I started in '83. I started as a teenager in '83, and every
Wow.
time it got really bad, where they were spending their money was to not kill themselves. So they'd go to a comedy club to laugh for a couple hours. So comedy will survive, and if you can go through vaudeville and stuff, in the depression, vaudeville survive. We're going to be fine. And I want to say one more thing about the budget thing that's going on right now. It was really good to see the Republicans finally cutting the pork, like the kids with cancer stuff. Those tumor-riddled toddlers have just been suckling at the government teat, ruining our country for decades. I'm glad they finally got to the heart of the matter.
That's it.
Yeah, I think the reality is that comics will always be fine. I think the YouTube people may not be, but but real comedians will be.
Well, that's what we have to hope. And I'm chatting with Alex Berg, Dustin Chafin, and Titus. So, Alex, talking about corporate media for a second, the way they've covered this shutdown and the vote yesterday was, only 2 Democrats voted with it. And the debate, whose fault is it? As opposed to ignoring the fact that 38 Republicans in the House voted against the bill. That's 20% of the House GOP caucus voted against the bill that Donald Trump personally championed and said, you should be supporting this. When 20% of the GOP, when Trump is at the peak of his power right now, his popularity coming into office, and 20% of the GOP, House GOP, are not afraid to defy him, I think that's a bigger story. And corporate media is just completely not talking about this at all.
Yeah, I think that there definitely needs to be more focus on it because it's also, I think, one of the first times in this era of the past month since the election or so, where we actually have seen any Republicans defy what Trump wants to begin with. And I think that also in the wake of all of the cabinet nominations, where it feels like, of course, like Matt Gaetz had to withdraw. He's an extreme example, but it seems like, Republicans might come around on Pete Hegseth, TBD, on what's going on there. But it seems like, yes, it is meaningful to see the first wave of House Republicans take a stand or, for us to know exactly who they are. Like, I think a lot of the times with the cabinet nominations, that stuff happens very behind closed doors. Certainly with like the leadership, the Republican Senate leadership over, MAGA guys versus more traditional conservatives. That was a vote that happened behind closed doors. So I do think that it's important that now we know these 38 or, however many Republicans,
38.
it should be absolutely a bigger story. And then I also think at the same time, we need to see Democrats going into like Fox News Spaces, podcasts on the right, also talking about how if the government shuts down, this falls at the feet of House Republicans. Because the people who are watching Fox News and, listening to these more right-leaning podcasts, they're not even going to see any Democratic messaging around this being the fault of House Republicans. And they need to hear that from somewhere. I feel like there's no other way to get to them. And like, what good is it if only the people who follow more centrist news outlets know that, they're the base. They're not going to even realize or care that it's the fault of House Republicans.
Dustin, what do you think? 1.5 million people are going to be let go, furloughed at midnight Saturday. That's exactly, it's 1.5 million.
Well,
just want to
it's
quantify
incredible.
numbers, including our
'Cause it's-
military. Every member of the military has to work for free.
Buyer's remorse. You know what I
PSA
mean?
employees who some are not going to go to work. You're going to have slowdowns at the airport, and it really becomes painful. And it's the holidays. People are trying to plan their budgeting to buy their children things or themselves things, and you have to hope that Republicans feel the pain. They did this. There was a deal made between the Democrats and Republicans to keep the government open for 3 more months. No big deal. Do some disaster funding, which is needed, helping 2 states that are both red states, to be honest, more than blue states. and they turned their back on it for Donald Trump. So I feel for the people. I mean, I know you're like a people person, and I say this sincerely. Like you talk about, you have empathy and concern for people.
Yeah,
and
I do. I
the
mean,
people are
like
going to suffer here.
yeah, like I said, buyer's remorse. Everybody, I've been talking to my brother who was like living in a van. He's got an EBT card and he's like living off the government and he's so pro-Trump. And I was like, dude, you have no idea.
Oh,
He's coming after you. Like they're clueless of what, they vote for him because of the cartoonishness of it all. And then they're the ones that get hurt the most.
is your brother is van nearby? I'd love to bring him on the show.
Well, that's
the
a new
outside
podcast,
right now.
Man in a Van.
I'd like, why not?
Down by the river.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Exactly. The van by the river. He'll just do the Farley thing and interview people. It'll be you on TikTok. Look, if people eating chicken wings could be sold for $80 million, the hot ones literally just got sold for like something around 40 or something, tens of millions. It could be 40 or 80. I can't remember the exact number.
Great show.
But I'm saying, like, we could have come up with that now. Titus, what do you want? Eating cheeseburgers with Christopher Titus, and then you put like some kind of special sauce on it. What's happening?
I could do a show where we eat bugs, and then maybe I'd get a podcast for the in a couple of years. I could do that.
Are you friends with Rogan?
We keep complaining about what people are watching. Here's the problem, and I brought this up a couple times on Dean's show. We need a new rule for media right now. I mean, and I will say that the MSNBC was probably one of the worst people making Trump sound normal. Fuck, it was crazy to watch. But we need a new what was the thing that Reagan killed it?
Fairness doctrine.
Fairness
doctrine. The fairness doctrine. We need that. We can talk about people don't watch the right media. People pick what makes them feel good.
Sure.
You can't turn to a heroin addict and go, if you just didn't do the heroin, and so we need to figure out a way where anybody who does lie in media, like Fox, Fox got fined $1 billion for the election stuff and kept doing it. And it's because we have nothing in place. When there is no fucking brakes, there's no safety equipment, the seatbelts are gone, and we're just barreling towards, well, we're already in the beginning of a third world war. Merry Christmas, everybody. But I just want to say that the only way this changes is if the people get smart enough to realize how fucked up the Republicans every time do it.
I know. Every time.
Every time they screw it up every time. Again, we're in the opening credits and they're ending the government. They're not even in yet. How? And yet people are like, yeah, but man, it's the Democrats' fault. What we need is some asshole Democrats. And Hakeem Jeffries,
yes.
Yesterday, we need some people that like bomb throwing, say it. Because here's what I'm not worried about. When we get to dumb people in like Boebert and Green, they don't have the intelligence to back up the shit they talk. The Democrats do. But the problem is we try to hold on to this honor. We're trying to hold a higher standard. You can't do that when no one else is. So it's time to get dead serious, start throwing some hands, metaphorically, and really get people to pay attention. The only way they're going to get news coverage to find out what you want, what you were saying about people knowing exactly what's happening on, is to get so loud and obnoxious that the news has to turn toward them. The news wanted Trump to be president.
Yep,
because the corporate media makes a lot of money when there's chaos. So the Democrats need to jump in and start creating some chaos so the cameras turn towards them, and then the real debate will start.
Interesting. Alex, what would be Democratic chaos? That's the thing. By the way, quick thing, Titus, you mentioned Fox News lying. Their biggest lie, calling Greg Gutfeld a comedian. That's the biggest lie.
I still have $100 to anybody that can give me video. I have $100 to anybody who can show me video of Greg Gutfeld actually being funny. $100 to anybody.
He's awful. He's a hobbit. He's terrible. I don't like him at any level. I hate to be
He's got the post-joke smirk down, though. He'll go ba 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 something not funny, and then go.
Right, he does this, and he has his glasses down his nose, like looking down on you. You're an arrogant prick. I don't like him at all. So, Alex, Titus is saying Democrats be not a mirror of the Republicans. You're doing chaos for good. That's what Titus is saying. There's chaos for bad and chaos for good. Not sure how that works, but still. So it's like anarchy for good. How do you do that?
I think, again, kind of to my point before, like I've seen Pete Buttigieg do a really good job on Fox News where he goes and the man is facts on facts on facts. Also, Bernie Sanders going on Theo Vaughn's podcast where he's also like facts on facts on facts. And I think that like Democrats need to speak with their whole chest. They need to be very aggressive in delivering their talking points, and they need to stand 10 toes down on their views. Like if you see the exchange between Bernie Sanders and Theo Von, Theo Von had JD Vance on previously and is like praising him. And Bernie Sanders is like, hell no, this guy is bad news, and like breaks it down point by point. And I think we need more Democrats who aren't afraid to go on into these spaces and not cower at their talking points. Like stand up for the thing that you believe in and present people with facts and give them
Right.
like another
More
Yeah,
WWE. They need to come in like pro wrestlers, just start screaming, the economy is booming. I mean, they need to be nuts.
I agree with you, and facts are Democrats coming with fire and entertainment, understanding that this is a medium. If you're on television or a podcast that's on visual, there's a component to it beyond facts. Like I look at Chuck Schumer and I yell at the TV, "Take an improv class." Take an acting class. Come on.
Yeah.
You got to do something. You can't be like, and then I said, and he's doing the things. Our democracy is under threat. It's never been more of a threat. Like, oh my God. Did anyone work with you?
Yeah.
You're in New York. You're
just
in New
talk
York.
to people, but like talk to people like
UCB
you're in New
is
York, or
right
talk
here
to
in
people like
23rd
a
Street.
real person. Like don't talk to me about a policy like the way it was written on a university campus, because I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. Like talk to me like I'm a real person. Be plain spoken. Like talk to people like normal people.
Yeah,
I agree.
Democrats
we
need to
also-
stop talking like professors and start talking like second grade teachers. We need to actually, because there's an arrogance in the way the Democrats come across. It was interesting to watch Hakeem Jeffries yesterday. I thought we need more of that. We need more.
What did he do that you like? I played clips of him. What did you do that he do that stood out to you?
There's something about him, like she was just saying that's he's not screwing around. There is an arrogance and an intellectual thing that Democrats have, where they know they're right. They know they're right. Now you got to add the theater on top of it. When you just said Schumer in an improv class, by the way, there's 15 sketches playing in my head right now. But I just we've lost the ability. We know we're right, so we're like, we know what the facts are, so we're like, well, those are the facts, sorry. And then Trump gets elected. So there's something we're not doing in the performance space, because we are in a society that just turns towards the car accident. We want to see the sparkly stuff. So I think maybe if Hakeem Jeffrey gets a sequin jacket of some sort, I think that'll help a lot.
That's very interesting. Go ahead, Dustin. What were you going to say?
No, we also need
Everyone nodded. See,
like a gold jacket with dollar signs on it.
Yeah, we do. We need some blue neck energy. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Blue
we
neck.
There you go.
Yeah.
The blue necks.
need. Blue
Yes.
necks. We need some blue necks out there driving trucks, and but they're electric.
Trucks, but
Yeah.
yes.
Electric F-150s. No, but I think that is the case. I my family, and we travel and stuff, and you see people and they do feel that they can't relate to an Ivy League person or somebody that's, gone beyond in their career, and they need somebody that can, literally talk to them in a way that they understand. And I think this country is, I don't know, it's too divided. We need to not, and that's the thing, is to not be afraid to talk to these people in a way they understand. I don't know. So,
And it's only because the education system. It's only because the education system since Reagan has been decimated. I'm not saying being educated is a bad thing. I'm saying that the most of the population doesn't understand. Again, it goes down to you are and your. It goes down to that. That's where we're at. Grown adults, man.
yeah. We need more y'all, though. A little more y'all.
Yeah, we need a lot more y'all.
No more
Amen. Amen.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back with our friends here to chat about sort of the holiday season, and I look forward to 2025. What are your predictions? Where are we going? Be right back with What Just Happened right after this. And welcome back to Dean Obeidallah Show. We're continuing with our last What Just Happened of 2024 with Alex Berg, Dustin Chafin, and Titus. So a quick thing, by the way, Joe Biden in an interview said today he can't name any regrets. They asked him, Ben Mizella, so I know Ben, has any regrets you have, anything you would have done differently? He goes, well, if I thought about it a lot, there'd be something specifically, but not generically. I'm like, I don't even know what that meant. But the bottom line was, he said, no, Alex, we don't have to go deep into this, but don't you think there'd be a few regrets that you have as president? Like, not everything you passed happened. The Middle East exploded. There are a lot of things, I would think, but he had none that he can remember at the moment. Let's put it that way.
I feel like he's done. He's cooked. He's over it. He doesn't care anymore.
So
Like
true.
he's slowly backing away from being engaged at all with his job as president. So I feel like that's it. I don't know. I was kind of like, maybe you would regret not stepping back 4 years ago so Democrats could have a proper primary and maybe we wouldn't be in this position in the first place. But yeah, I honestly,
He's
I
not
kind of
gonna
expected him. He's never going to say that. I kind of expected him to have this kind of answer.
I thought he would have said something like Build Back Better, which he really wanted to
Oh,
pass. And that got blocked. That was some really good stuff in there, like expanding Medicare to provide hearing and dental and vision for seniors and federal funded pre-K and work. Like that would have been a great answer. And said, look, I wanted that. I want that more to be my legacy. That would have really helped. That would have been transformative in so many people's lives. But no, Dustin, anything you regret
Well, it's
about
kind of like
Biden?
when you have a bad set, but you're like, yeah, but I did some new stuff. You know what I mean?
So,
I
so you
think,
have no regrets? Like you're like, it wasn't a good
yeah.
set, but it wasn't
It's
my
like, hey, I
fault.
did new stuff. What are you gonna do? It was them, wasn't me. I think him running again should have been the biggest regret, and not just getting behind, giving Kamala a chance. What you have 90 days to run a campaign.
106, 105. Yeah,
It's like,
that's kind of interesting. Like, it's not often I blame the audience either. I mean, I do comedy a couple times a week now. It's not like full time, but there are some nights I just leave. I'm like, they're just not smart. That's
Yeah.
my biggest dig. They're just dumb people. Like they're not bad. They're just dumb. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Titus, which is just the perfect thing to be the elitist snob that I am. Like,
I'll say this: you can't ask a man to name regrets when he's so old he may not be able to name his children. The problem, and literally, when you're 82, every question is a gotcha question. So my thing with Biden is, and I think that, I think you're guilty of it too, Dean. I've seen you
oh,
so I watch you whenever you're on MSNBC. I think we're guilty of really stopping and saying what this man did. We've all forgotten how fucked we were. They were stacking grandmas and grandpas in refrigerator trucks. Next thing we know, we're all in this dystopian world we're in, getting vaccinated in a parking garage. Next thing you know, we're not stacking bodies anymore. The supply chain's fixed. Stores were dead empty. Now they're full. I think when Biden's presidency is put through the prism of history, it's going to be pretty amazing. The problem, I do agree that I didn't want him to leave. I thought he did such a good job. And if you look at from the CHIPS Act to the Infrastructure Act, he's a badass. And I can see him going, I don't have any regrets. His biggest regret should be, that Republicans are the ones that blocked all the good stuff
yeah.
that he wanted to do. And then Trump tried to claim all the good he did. I think jumping on Biden seems to be, everyone's looking for an excuse, just like comedians going, it's the audience. But I think the guy did a great job, and stupidity just ruled the day. And as P.T. Barnum said, no one ever went broke in betting on the stupidity of the American people. And I think we've seen it again and again. It's just historical, man. And
I think it's
by the
just
way,
good.
when I have a bad set, it's always them.
Right. It's us versus
I
them.
agree. I agree.
You're right about in a way, when he came in, if you remember where we were, if that was more of the issue of the campaign, if people thought we could go back to that, who do you want Trump there again? Because, I got my vaccine in a Walgreens before anything was set up. Like you got the shot, then you go wait in aisle 9. Like I'm like, I swear to God, they go sit. I'm sitting with aisle 9. I'm like, what happens if there's an emergency? Do you go to aisle 7? Like, there's people laying on the ground in aisle 7. Like this isn't working. So it's
we're
all
doing we're doing shows in backyards. You know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, that was right. It's common on
Rooftops. Yeah, it's
rooftop
crazy.
comics.
We
So
live streamed for 4 years.
Oh,
We couldn't even have
yeah.
an audience. So I just, when people say Biden this, Biden that, I'm like, listen, here's how good Biden was. I'm sorry to interrupt everybody.
sure.
Everything got so good so fast. You got to remember, you had a guy with 50 years of government experience. Everything got so good so fast. All of a sudden, people went, you know what? Eggs are 40 cents more. What are we doing? And that's how good the presidency was. And now, people are going to learn. They're going to learn, man. Again, we're in the
But
opening minutes, and
but
the
he got
government
bad on
is
a
shutting
mic.
down.
He got
Huh?
bad on a mic, and that was part of the whole thing.
Oh, the debate. He had the bad
Yeah,
show.
he was bad on a
It was
mic.
He had one bad show. Yeah, but it was an
Yeah.
audition for
One
his
bad
own
show.
show.
I had a
Yeah, it was a
Montreal like that.
showcase. It
Yeah.
was a showcase.
I had
That's the
one.
problem.
You had a Montreal edition like that. That was like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
horrible.
well, all right. So Alex, let's shift to we have about 6, 7 minutes left here. let's look at 2025 or even 20, either one. Either what's the defining moment in your mind for 2024, whatever it might be, and what do you hope to see in 2025? You can pick either one or both. So Alex, let's start with you. Was there something defining, or do you want to chime in more on what you hope, or you can do both?
I mean, I feel like defining moment was the election, period. And then I think for 2025, I am looking forward to Republican dysfunction in Congress because I feel like it's already starting. And as if that is the thing that keeps us from going over the brink and passing some real bad stuff, I'll take it.
I think the election for so many people is a defining moment, but just to remind people about a few other things. In 2024, there was as Alex reminded me, there's George Santos, which was a huge scandal. And then Tom Suozzi wins. That was early in the year. We had the Olympics. We still have the war in the Middle East. We have Biden dropping out of the race. We had the bad performance in the June show of Joe Biden. We had Supreme Court giving Trump broad immunity. We had Joe Biden pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. We had all these cases with Trump getting thrown out. And Trump, of course, convicted of 34 felonies. So it's kind of remarkable. And then there's stuff beyond politics, of course, which I don't really care about. So, Dustin, what about you? Anything defining for you when you think of 2024?
I think the power of like stand-up comedians and podcasters. I think we kind of set on that, and just to watch even like the Tony Hinchcliffe thing or whatever. It's so funny how the left was like, that's going to, give us the election. And it was the opposite effect. And then, and then like you said, the host of a show that eats bugs or whatever, that guy had so much influence. It's phenomenal.
It did. And we'll get back to 2025 in a second. But so Titus, what about you? It's so interesting. It's a great point you make, Dustin, because after this election was over, everything was like Joe Rogan, the most powerful man in America. And then Elon Musk, like, yeah, I got a lot of money over here to counter that kind of stuff. And he made it clear. But there was all this, if Harris just went on Rogan's show, she would have won. I'm like, are you out of your mind? That doesn't make any sense at all. So what's defining in you? It could be an event, or it could be more like Dustin was saying, like the ascendancy of a new theme.
I just, man, it's weird. I'm kind of taking the last couple of decades into it. I just, because you remember when like the biggest news was like Mork and Mindy was premiering, or Clinton got his cigar, wet in the Oval, and I just think that we've been a smoldering dumpster fire since 9/11, and we've lost any connection to normalcy. That's the problem we have right now. And I mean, listen, we live in a daily insanity. Just the things you just brought up in a row. The president of the United States is a convicted felon. And on one more thing about Joe Biden is all the time he was doing all the stuff I said he was doing while he was under investigation by the Republicans, and he still got it done. What do I think where we're headed? I think we're headed to, well, we get to live through history. That's what I'm saying. My Christmas message is this: buy Kevlar. That's my Christmas message. Buy a lot of Kevlar. Sanity is just nostalgia right now. Do you know that? I mean, when was the last time every day something fucking insane happens and we just nod and then wait for the next thing tomorrow? I am at probably, for my comedy, it's great because my new show Doomed to Repeat is just perfect. For my comedy, it's great. Bargatze's going to just look like he's crazy after a while. You guys are going to look just all nice talking about relationships. They're going to be like, the planet's on fire. And I'm going to go see Titus.
Yeah. Hey, Larry the Cable Guy is big for a reason.
I know.
It's true.
Look at all that stuff Bush was doing. And Larry the Cable Guy was the biggest comic on the planet.
I have so much envy watching Nate. I have so much envy. Like, how are you not? Like, I got to get my fury tamped down. But I think at the end of it, man, the next time you have me on the show, I'll be living with Dustin up in Amish country and making smokeless fireplaces because we're on the ragged edge, man. I think we're on if you know anything about history, we are literally on the ragged edge of a third world war right now. And
great.
And then,
that's something to look forward to. It's good for ratings.
Thank God, the most powerful country in the world has the dumbest guy we could possibly elect. It's gonna be fine. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Hanukkah and happy everything. By the way, quick thing, Titus, your special it premieres December 24th. Where can people see it?
It's going. You can get it. You can go. Yeah, you can get it. We're debuting it on the Christmas Eve. You can take you and your drunk family and watch me talk about my drunk family. There's no politics in this one at all.
What?
This one's the worst. The stories in Carrion Monsters are, as I say in the show, these are stories from many years I couldn't tell. and then a bunch of people who the stories are about died, and now they're stories I shouldn't tell, but I'm not going to court.
And that's what Carrying Monsters is about. And people want to check it out. They go to the website, ChristopherTitus.com.
Yep. It's a great gift for people for Christmas. You can download a PDF with a Christmas card. You can put it in someone's stocking. You guys can watch it on Christmas when you're drunk. It's awesome.
That's great.
You don't
Check
have
it
to
out.
be drunk. It's funny without being drunk. Just want to point that out.
Titus is very, very funny. Alex, where can people find your work and how do you celebrate the holidays?
I am a cashew, which is that part of my family is Catholic, part of my family is Jewish. So we'll be doing a double celebration, lots of guilt in Philadelphia with my fam. But you can just find me. It's alexberg.com. It's Alex Berg on all the social medias.
That's pretty cool. And my family, half Muslim, half Christian, half Catholic to be specific. So we get to celebrate everything. It's a lot of fun. Dustin, what about you, my friend? Where can people follow your work and how are you going to be celebrating the holidays?
First of all, I want to say, Titus, I think your TV show should have got a Pulitzer for, people with shitty dads. You know what I mean? Like, it was phenomenal. It got me through so much.
Thank
I
you,
loved
man.
it. It was incredible.
Thanks, brother.
You can catch me. I'll be at Funny Bone in Des Moines, Iowa, December 27th and 28th. And also at the Fairfield Comedy Club, January 5th with Leah Bonema. We're co-headlining, so it's going to be a lot of fun, my girlfriend. So, and check out my podcast, Chasing Comedy, with Brian Scott McFadden, where we kind of write jokes on the air. It's kind of a behind the scenes of how you write a joke with another comic, kind of like,
That's
two guys at a diner kind of thing.
That sounds actually pretty good. I like Brian a
see?
great deal. He's been on the show. Yes, Titus, you have to add something.
Can I whore one more thing?
Of course, this is what this is all about. The whole
Thanks,
thing's about
man.
whoring.
Last 2 gigs of the week, we're doing Spokane Knitting Factory tonight, and then the Neptune Theater in Seattle tomorrow for our last gig. Come see the new show; it's doing well, and the podcast, the Armageddon Update, Titus podcast. Thanks. Yeah.
I want to thank the three of you for being on what Titus has dubbed the last show ever of mine. The last one just happened in the history of the Dean Obeidallah show. And I can't push back against that because it could be true. We don't know. There'll be huge budget cuts at SiriusXM next year. So I could be doing this on the road, in a van, as a podcast, in a barn. But I'm going to keep doing this. So Alex, Dustin, and Titus, thank you so much for being on. You were great. Happy holidays to you and your families. Have fun. And I look forward to chatting with you in the new year, either on this show or me just showing up at your house saying hi.